All right, y'all. So this is my raggedy ass 1985 Ford Bronco. I just drove it home from work. So yeah, I do have a day job. Got bills to pay. This is what I do for fun in my spare time. You can tell it's a little dirty because I've been out beating the hell out of it. If I break something, that'll be the next, you know, the weakest thing in the link, and then we'll get it fixed. But it's got a 4-inch lift with Milestar Patagonia MT tires. It basically has a stock 355 gear in it. The engine is a 351 Windsor, bored 60 over. I bought the truck with a bad motor in it. The guy said it had 2 rods knocking. It didn't have no rods knocking. The rods were actually stuck inside the cylinder walls because the rods completely came apart. But basically, I threw this motor together when I used to do motors and stuff for people off to the side, real good friends. And he wanted 60 over, so he owed me some money for doing it. He sold his car, said you can just keep the short block. So I kept the short block. It was in my garage. But anyways, the air conditioner works, everything else. It's got a Holley Sniper EFI system on it. It has the 3G alternator upgrade. Also, I've got a Holley Sniper Hyperspark CD box. It's right here if you can see it. And also I have the Holley Hyperspark distributor and coil that goes with it. And I'm running the good wires, the Street Fire wires from MSD. No RFI issues. I am running a oil catch can so I can run a constant orifice PCV valve. The big thing about the Holley Sniper system is you've got to make sure you have good plug wires. I haven't had this air cleaner off in a while. But basically it's got, right now it's got a little 351 Windsor, you know, set of, I know everybody knocks on them, Pro Comp heads because it's just a stock motor, and the heads probably flow a little bit more in the cam. It's got like a stage 1 from like Melling, a small, basically their RV cam. And I had that cam and this intake on here with a set of basically 351 Windsor heads. I said, you know what, I'm gonna keep this thing because I threw the motor in it. I got the original carburetor with those heads that I did a little work on. I had the stock manifolds, and I just was like, all right. And then I was gonna sell it, and then I took it for a ride, you know, original rims on it, before I did the lift kit, and it just grew from there. So I bought like 190cc Pro Comp heads. They don't need much. A lot of people say, oh, bigger's better. Bigger's not always better. A lot of airflow on an engine that doesn't operate in that RPM actually hurts bottom end torque. And right now with them big old 35-inch tires, I got stock gears in it and it runs pretty good. But you know, there's a couple little quirks to it. Sometimes the AFR air fuel ratio will go a little lean or rich, and when I first get on it, and it's starting to kind of correct itself. But I'm gonna get the guy at Mad Scientist Motorsports to do me a base tune at least, and maybe a couple little remote tweaking tunes or something. And then these were headers off of a buddy of mine had those headers, and he's like, hey man, you want these headers? And I'm like, hell yeah, I'll take them headers. So nothing crazy special about it, but I said, yeah, I'll take them headers. And then they were better than the stock headers, so I threw them on there, and they're off of like a 5.0 Mustang. This side is the same. The only side that's different is this header sweeps back a little bit more, so I had to change the piping and tubing, but I did anyways. I'm running I hope I pronounce it right, the Durrell or whatever fan to this little sensor right here. At 185, it kicks on. So I got some 6AN fittings with a good transmission lines. Those are 2 fans off of a Ford Contour, 99 Ford Contour, and the Sniper controls both speeds on them. I've got them connected through relays over there. This does have a 6R80 transmission and transfer case. And I was out here testing and playing with it. It has the V belts. I'm gonna end up doing serpentine belts. I've upgraded to the LED headlights off of like eBay or something. They're actually pretty cheap. I'm gonna fix a Ford emblem. One day it got a little loose and came off, but that don't mean it ain't fast. But I was out here playing with it, making sure the electronic shift on the fly or electronic transfer case works. It has a 6R80 transmission and transfer case. The transmission's out of a 2012. The transfer case is out of a 2014 Ford F-150. I think it had a little over probably 150,000 miles on it. We're gonna see how long it lasts before I have to rebuild it. I'm using the US Shift Quick 6 to control it, and it runs good. Did another video, I may make some changes to it, but I got this little panel inside the truck that actually, it's a switch that lets you with LEDs, and I'm trying to get down pat the LEDs and make sure it works. The switch definitely works, but I want to do the sequence in the LED so I know what gear it's in. I mean, you can feel it when you drive it, but you know, and then I'll put that out. But basically, you know, when it's in too high, it's a 3-mode transfer case. When it's in too high, I want to, certain LEDs or one LED come on, and then I want, you know, when it's in 4 high and 4 low, I need to figure out what LED is going to come on. There's really not a neutral. There is, but it's kind of in between gears, so I don't, you know, I got to keep playing with it. But that 4-wheel drive works. I do have drive shafts from Pim Racing, and I think it's Tom Woods, but I do a little segment with a 6R80 performance automatic plate. I've got a thing that I'm going to show where I know the converter pilot doesn't line up to into the back of the crankshafts. If you know, it's only a 1/2 inch thick, and a lot of people say they can't use their spacer, but I got something I did. So this was before I got talking and doing videos, and I never even thought about sharing this, but it's real simple, and I'll probably show that when I go to put the other motor in, or if I go to do another transmission. But yeah, so 85 Ford Bronco, 351 Windsor, 60 over, 6R80, and the transfer case that goes with it, with drive shafts. But it runs good, and the 4-wheel drive works. I just got to get used to it and do a little tweaking on it, and I'll cover that in, like I said, in other videos. But I'm turning 15, maybe 1600 RPMs at like 60 to 65 miles an hour. I get up into 70 or a little higher, and it's turning almost 1700 RPMs. So I might put a little bit more gear into it, like a 411, but I've got a 351 Windsor. I'll show that in another video. I'm starting to build it. Going to be stroked out to a 426, which it's got a 4.170 crank. I would go with a 408, but I already got the crank and the rods and the pistons and everything. I got a pretty smoking deal on it. So I'm gonna throw it in here and build some torque, and we're gonna see what happens, and I'll keep you posted. All right, so there's an introduction and a little bit of a plan on some upgrades to my raggedy ass 1985 Ford Bronco. And everybody asked me, but I'm just going to tell you, yes, the rear window does come down and it works. Hell yeah. All right, thanks for watching.